From Mother with Love. So this is a fairly simple one. Um, I've noticed whenever I would go and talk to people, especially with women, just as a tip for guys who were raised by single mothers and stuff like that. Maybe guys who didn't get a lot of play when they were younger. Maybe guys who were virgins and stuff like that. Like whenever you're talking, like just as a text tip, by the way, um, that first urge that you get to text, the first thing you get to, the first thought that comes to your mind, in my opinion, is probably the worst idea. Um, so I would just say kind of sit on it a little and don't always feel the need to text people right away. You kind of want to kill that side of you because, or maybe just find something to do. You don't always have and I know the feeling is that the feeling you'll get is, oh, I don't want this person to get mad at me, but that's like that kind of uh, behavior is gonna hurt you in the long run anyway. So um, yeah. So as a hint, or just a couple of things you can do, find something to do. Like if you were going to do something anyway, then do it. That way you can learn to prioritize yourself over the message and try to do it as often as possible. So like maybe you can do it and kind of reprogram yourself. So when you get a message, do something and then do something else. And then whatever happens later, maybe you see the message and you finally want to respond back to it. But then you thought about it and you thought about how you want to respond. So you're not as angry later on when you're like, I shouldn't have said that, or I double texted, or I double texted, or I texted this, which I didn't want to say because it sounded needy or something like that. Hey, DM. Um, so yeah, a lot of times dudes end up getting in their way and they'll double text a woman or they'll call the woman or if the woman texts the guy and he'll get super excited like, oh my god, I can't believe it. um, Another part of this is that like if you can get like a lot of numbers and just talk to a lot of women, then the psychological effect that one woman has when you're talking to her, like it doesn't have as strong of an effect and you're not as pressed for attention. um, Now, generally speaking, because the social value of guys in the current market is kind of oblique, kind of lopsided, that's just what you have to do. Like in the 50s and in times when things were different and men had the value just by going to work. See, that is what it made things different because the guys didn't have to juggle five, six, 10 different women just to get one in that environment because they had higher social economic value than the women, generally speaking. And that kind of changed. I think when that changed and women started working too, it shifted the social dynamics because you had the inherent value that women already have, and then you bolster that with economic value. It kind of puts the men at a disadvantage. But I guess the advantage that you have is actually being smart enough to see it, being smart enough to know to diversify. Um, Diversify your forces so that you can fortify your defenses. So, yeah, from Mother with Love. You know what? Yeah, so after this one, I think I'm gonna do so after this particular one, I'm gonna add a bunch. Um, Actually, yeah, so yeah, after this live stream, I'm gonna do another live stream right after, and I will do two or three different topics all at once in that live stream. Uh, in the future, I want to do very short clips, but then I want to have maybe 30-minute live streams every now and then. I'm looking for a webcam for my current device I'm using to stream. If I can find that, then I can start getting things rolling. But yeah, just to reiterate, so from Mother with Love, the point is a lot of guys are raised by single mothers, and a lot of them don't really have the skills to attract women, and they don't know that what attracts a woman versus a man is kind of like they're diametrically opposed. There's differences in how men generate attraction versus how women generate attraction. a lot of times with women, indifference creates attraction. Um, Focus on goals creates attraction because it's masculine. It's very polarizing for them. Um, so, um, and also with the texting and the calling, I'm not saying you can't call. I'm not saying you can't text, but again, because of the lopsided nature of the current social and dating market, men have to leverage options in order to become an option. It's kind of, I mean, at least until you get to the point where you, let's say you're working out and uh, you have other things. Have a nice haircut, you have a car, you have game. So you're very good with talking to women, you have style. There's a lot of different holistic elements that you kind of have to work on in order to get to the final goal. But until you get to the final goal, I would say work on those things. But whenever you're engaging and talking to women, whenever you're approaching things like that, diversify your forces so that you can win because you're fortifying your defenses. Don't just text one woman. Don't just text two women, you know? All right. From Mother with Love.